Good morning. Welcome to Drawing for Tattooers. I'm your host, James Wisdom, and I'm working on a self-portrait. So I'm really glad you could make it. This is the second installment of this portrait project that I'm working on. Well, anyway, it's a work in progress. So we're working through it, and I really do. This is something that I obviously like. I'm not good at, but I've done it for a long time, and I'm hoping that you'll sort of feel maybe you'll feel like, oh, I could give that a try. It's not so tough. Anyway, but I do have some. I've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get started on that right away. But anyway, thank you for joining me. This is Drawing for Tattooers on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. I would like to thank Guy Etchison for providing this space. We really appreciate it. It's a really helpful community, I think, to be a part of, where you can grow as an artist and also network. You're going to build your tattoo network, as it were. So, all right, let's see. I would like to, maybe I can turn that bit off. Yes, that's a bit better. Okay, thank you. All right, before I begin, I'm going to do a few warm-ups. I like to do warm-ups. So, yeah, let's just put a new layer on so we don't mess up our project. And, right, I'm just going to do some elliptical shapes to start to just get warmed up a little bit, right? So I like to practice drawing these ellipses because they're fairly ubiquitous, right? Like everywhere you're gonna see ellipses in so many different situations, and so being able to draw them accurately can be quite satisfying. Yeah, see, I think if you're drawing something, see how I'm running off the page right there? Hopefully you can see it. It feels like I'm running off the page, right? Our tendency might be to try to squeeze things in, to truncate things would be that's the word for it. Try to avoid that. If you have to go, off the page, better, right? I think you can feel how that shape starts to become continued in your imagination, right? You can see like, oh yes, I can feel that would be a more perfect ellipse. I'm trying different angles, everybody, right? I'm just sort of like moving my hand around different angles. That one was more awkward for me, right? So again, overhand, underhanded. I definitely for me, I like this time for a bit of free association. Right? Just sort of moving my hand around. I'm thinking about my shoulder, right? As far as like moving my pen around and making these shapes, I'm trying to work from the shoulder. I had to tattoo knuckles. I was tattooing my client's knuckles across both hands, right? So and he took a picture of me while I was doing this, while I was tattooing his knuckles, and I was all clenched up and tight, and man, I don't know if there's any other real way to do it. If you're tattooing such a small little thing, it can be tough to stay, keeping a good posture, right? And then also use your body correctly as you're making your artwork, you're making your tattoos. I don't know, whatever you're doing. If you're using your body, it's a it's mechanical, right? Biomechanical. So there is a mechanic to it. Anyway, just practicing these, getting warmed up, and chit-chatting with you all. If you are watching, feel free to drop it in the chat. Where are you watching us from? Where are you seeing this? All right, I usually do, I don't know, about 50 of these little shapes. And again, just kind of moving my hand around. Cool. I feel more warmed up, right? I think it's, I definitely encourage stretching. Like, so stretch out your hands, right? Sort of pull your hand back towards yourself, and then just stretch your wrists out, stretch your hands, your arms, and your wrists. It is so important, and it's good to take a break, right? There's a way to do it, right? There's a technique. It's called the Pomodoro. And so you go for 25-minute intervals with 5-minute breaks. And then after 3 of those, right, you take a longer break. And it's a way to organize your day, like sort of blocks of time. And if you're making artwork, or maybe you're even like, I don't know, doing work digitally, you may want to take a little break and get up and stretch. I guess it could be valuable for anything you do. Of course, like a pilot or or someone driving, it may be more difficult for them to take these regular intervals, but who knows? That might actually, make a big difference. Anyway, so I'm on to the portrait. I'm on to the portrait. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Getting started with it. Now, something that I can do, I can always sort of like, I can make my portrait, sort of compare it a little bit closer. As I do that, it does seem like perhaps it's a little bit wide. Just the head shape itself. That is that is just a guesstimate. I'm gonna do a bit of measurement. I think measurement can really. It seems like it seems like it's pretty much what I have here. But I think what I need to do is, let's see. I think I have some anatomical features in the wrong place. So what I'd like to do before I get too technical with anything is I'm just going to smudge out some of these details. I don't need them yet. I can always put these details back. They were very easy to do. And to be honest, some of them were rushed at the end of last week's session. So let me see, what size is this? Not very big. Okay. So I'm just gonna smudge some of these details out because they're not quite there, and return to maybe more of a shape. And as promised, right? I didn't touch this. I figured like, okay, so I just wanted to work through this with you and kind of show you how I would, how I do this. Again, I've done it lots of times. It's always they always look funny to me. Always I do, the self portraits, they always look a little funny to me. But I think that's, some of them are charming. So, anyway, I get a lot from this activity. And so that's why I'm sharing it with you. And so before I get too far, I just want to get rid of some of these details. So I'm not like, sometimes you get really hung up on all the details. Ears too, they're not in the right place. So now that I have sort of gotten rid of some of those features, I'm going to take a little step back here. I think already it's starting to feel a little bit closer. But yeah, I can definitely see there's certainly some room for edits. Right. So yeah, I'm trying not to get detailed, but rather just to get rid of some of this stuff. I'm the nose. I'm not even 100% on that either. So I'm just gonna. But the glabella, this brow ridge, right there, that is what I'd like to retain that. So just sort of keep that. I'll keep that in mind. Okie dokie. So, what's next? Well, I basically want to reestablish all of those anatomical landmarks that I just smudged out and just be a bit more accurate. We laid out the shape. That was like the first session was just sort of blocking in the shape. Um, Today, my plan is to establish some of those anatomical landmarks as points, and then I want to describe the form of my head, right, with planes, with tonal value. So I want to do some shading. I want to avoid getting too detailed, and I'm going to reserve, right? I'm going to prioritize and reserve some things. So what does that mean? Well, I want to like be able to push a little bit darker where I need to, and then I also want to be able to have some areas be a little bit softer, maybe not so defined. You might lose some edges, and that's can be a really great appearance, right, to your artwork. I mean, every artwork is going to have its inconsistencies, let's say, but if you can cleverly pay attention to the areas that are that attract the viewer's eye the most, right? There's areas you want to leave more mysterious, nondescript. Other areas you sharpen and tighten, and then this adds interest. It adds drama. Um, anyway, there's just some considerations, uh, right? So I'll just smudge around just a little bit, because now that we had like a nice, we really did have that nice lined out drawing. All of the points were measured. Now we're just going again. Like I said, I want to think about all the tone that we're going to get. So I'm just going to try to make a few measurements here and there, but I don't want to change the whole thing. There's a few commitments we've made, and so we're going to stick with it. The angle of the jaw here. So this is what I'm kind of focused on. I don't want to get too tight here, but I'm just gonna want to indicate it for myself, right? Just take a step back. Just want to show you where I'm at. So indicate this area and create just a shape. I can look over at the reference, right, that spot, and then I look if I look directly up, then like the hairline on me it's like a little bit closer in, something like this. Something like there, and then that might change that appearance slightly. Less blocky. I'm just gonna knock that back a little bit so it's not messing me up. Okay, but it's nothing too descriptive there. Okay, great. So yeah, I don't know yet. Just I'm still there's still a lot of like going by vibes with that you can measure it so accurately, really. So accurately measure it for sure. Um, I think that's actually a very helpful exercise as well. Uh, when you're drawing your own self-portrait, again, I'm using a photograph, and I could manipulate it in different ways, of course, right? We could trace it or whatever we want. But I'm trying to make it challenging. I'm trying to look at it and sort of, look at it like an object, and I'm drawing it. The other way you could do this project is look at a mirror. Like actually put a mirror up and draw exactly what you see. That's very challenging. Those those ones you really end up with some pretty funny results sometimes with those ones. But yeah, if you, I mean, that used to be the way. You know what I mean? It used to be the way to get that sort of thing done. So anyway, okay, I'm no details. Hold on. Let's try to get the other side first, right? So I'm actually, I don't know if I'm this this could help, right? I want to try to find the relationship from like this point here to the other one. Uh, you know, like the other point of the jaw. It'll be over there somewhere, right? So I don't want to I don't want to mess up my drawing. Yeah, and switch to a layer and have some overlay and stuff. I will do that when needed, but that just quickly. That's what I want to do. I want to jump from that side, over to its opposite side. And I am, just like I showed with that line, I'm gonna kind of use my pen to sight it, and I'm getting like an angle like that. It's a it's not, it's just it's slightly off of level, slight head tilt, right? And it can, again, I think correspond to right angle there, right? So, da, 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 get rid of that stuff. But also that's a part of expression too. Someone's expression is going to have, uh, you're gonna use different muscles on different sides of your face, and then get either you use the same ones, right, like symmetrically, or you use different ones, and you'll have some expression. So anyway, let's see. I'm gonna lower that just a little bit. I think that's, come on, yeah, there. That seems better. Okay, great. So there's like a similar kind of situation. Like from here, it's slightly in, and that is where my hairline is, and then up and over, right, top of my head, right, or the vertex, right, this little top point. um, Learning all of the anatomical names for stuff I don't think it's not necessary, but it is helpful when you're going to remember it. Or when I say remember it, it's like if you're drawing from life, or I mean, you're really just trying to be efficient and draw things. You may not always have a perfect model in front of you. You may have to invent things. So being able to imagine the anatomical forms, like what shape they take and where they're located generally, is actually helped when you learn the names of them. So when you learn the anatomy names, it helps you remember. It just does. Helps you see them better, helps you remember it. Hey, I think that feels like a lot more like similar. It's starting to get a bit better shape wise. The lines are a bit harsh, but but I think you could really do this exact same thing with your paper, right? If you're working with charcoal and paper, like exactly what I'm doing here, you could do. And how you would do that is with something called vine charcoal. Vine charcoal is a very soft, uh, manipulatable charcoal. You can put it on your paper. It'll come right off, actually. So it's actually not the best thing to do your finished work, your finished shading and stuff. If you use vine charcoal, you can you actually start to lay things out, you know, move them around just like I'm doing here before you get real committed to, like, if you use a charcoal pencil, for instance, that is going to leave a much more indelible mark and will be difficult to move. Sorry, I am really trying to try my own patience here. What eraser do I have today? I think I'll actually have like a lot of cool like stamps that I got from Tattoo Smart. So they're real cool, and they're real saleable too. So yeah, all these ones, tons and tons and tons of flash designs. It's crazy. It is really crazy. Like, I guess it's analysis paralysis, right? Like how many different flash designs you can have. Drawing, maybe drawing. Mm, yeah, how about that? Cool. That's better. I was looking for something kind of like a kneaded eraser, so I chose a brush called Gloaming from my drawing. This is just stock on Procreate. I don't know, but that feels a little bit closer. If you have a kneaded eraser and you were to sort of like try to erase a little bit, you might get a bit of some of this texture of the paper. Okay. Oop. So just a measurement. I just sort of measured an angle from from this side over to just the bottom of the ear. Just an angle. I don't know. You know what I mean? In fact, I could do that. I could take this angle and I could measure it to that point too. Just sort of like, visually, to my paper and then to that point. And it's like, how close is it? It's like there to there. It's like it wants it to be just there, right? So let me just get rid of those. I don't want to deal with them. I could, again, it's just overlay it. But the idea, it with triangulation is what I'm just describing. The idea is that you can visually look at a point, on a picture, and you can sort of say, all right, there's that point. I hope you can see what I'm saying right there. There's that point. You can measure, you can use your drawing implement, right? Or you can also, if you get good visually, you can say, all right, where's the next one? It's there, right? And that's the other angle of the jaw. Now I might want to say, all right, so where is, in this area, where is the point of, that the hairline? So you may look for a more anatomical point, like first in a photograph, you can look at any point because they're fixed. It's in a photo. But again, I can look and I can say, all right, there it is. It's right there, right there. And then I can look at the bottom point again and see, like, all right, so where is that exactly here? It's right there. That's the point that you know what I mean, that I'm looking at. It should be right there. So that's like you're trying to get it much more accurate. So, if I go back down to my layer and I, take a mark and I say, all right, well, that's actually what I mean. And then goes up from there, something like this. Now that I've started this, then I'll just, now that I've started this, can't stop it. Unstoppable process, right? Just slightly. Again, it was like it's a game of millimeters, once you really start getting to it, and it's like, oh, that doesn't look like the person I'm trying to draw. But then, I think just a little bit of mapping out, and then it's like it's getting closer. Really, it's getting closer. So, alrighty. So that's triangulation. Do that 10 billion times. what I just showed you. repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, and you'll basically trace it. Right? Um, when you can't put a piece of tracing paper on it, that's the way to make it like super accurate. But again, there's the simple way is to kind of feel out the shapes and to place them well. Um, I think that can come from through a lot of experience, but and some people are more intuitive, I suppose, in this regard. But anyways, I will shape it up. I think that feels a bit better as far as the head shape. And I can always flip it, and then I don't want to flip this. I'll just sort of hide it for a second. You can just sort of look at it for a moment and see. Um, does anything look out of place? A little bit. Needs some ears and stuff. So I think a bit more of the facial structure is now. It's time for that. I feel like, and then we'll get those ears and um, get those ears all figured out. Again, the neck, like where everything is gonna, you know, be located. I can just gesture it in. I gotta have like way too much going on down here. But let's see, a quick measurement. Oh my god, right. So yeah, that's that's pretty accurate, and that's like the insertion point. I was saying it's sternocleidomastoid, like right there. Drop my arrow for you, like this. So the sternal notch, and then this muscle which makes up your neck, your sternocleidomastoid muscle. It's right there. I'm just sort of sketching in the shape of it, because like I said, I know the name of it. I can think about the shape. Um, but I don't want it there. I just wanted to have like, okay, it's indicated for me. Um, and then I, as I'm looking, I'm seeing how it's rendered in my photograph. I'll have a better idea. Um, and then maybe this is, maybe this is a good way to sort of go about it. Just block in this. Come on. Block in this shirt. Again, it's like, I don't know, charcoal colored or something. It's just, I'm just blocking it in. I think uh, that helps a lot with just sort of, yeah, that helps a lot. Sort of bring slightly more cohesive. So there's already some tone to my layer. Like the background color has some tone in it, but um, toning it down even further, it gives you more range of value, right? In this instance, so and it's a little more unified and a little closer, and really it wouldn't take much to you can just push it if you need. Yep, it's a little darker there, but again, like I was mentioning earlier, that I'm okay. I don't want to get too crazy here, but the idea is that I want to have some reserve. I want to be able to push a little darker, and so yeah, kind of smudging around a little bit, like in this initial stage, just sort of pushing stuff around. That's a big part of what I was hoping to do today. So I want to make just a few more measurements. I don't know about this eyeball. I don't know. Oh, it's huge. Hold up. Yeah, it's too smudgy. Drawing. Ugh, I don't know. I don't know what's a good smudging tool. I really don't. Sure. How about the gloaming? It's like like I said, it's what I chose for the eraser. So, um, yeah, smudge. So, yeah, I want to smudge out. It takes your focus away. You got to deal with your tools, then you come back to the drawing and stuff. It can be, it's a good practice for discipline. Um, Oop, pardon me. What do I got? Fine. Yeah, I gotta say I like this. Again, just experimenting with some of these other brushes that I don't always use. I mean, I use my tablet a lot. Ugh, did not mean to do that, gang. Sorry. Okay. Use my tablet a lot. It's very convenient as a means to an end generally. So it's interesting to use it in this way where it actually is. This is the project. Um, and I really do see it, and it's people are making digital work and then producing it. It looks amazing. I don't know. I like that. Sometimes I like that we're making digital stuff, and I like that it can stay digital too. Kind of like this. If you're watching this, it is a self portrait of a self portrait of a self portrait. Um, all about me, me, me. But I guess, but I hope, yeah, I hope that uh, that you enjoy it and also give this project a try yourself. Okay, I'm like distracted. Let me get focused here. I'm really thinking about like this basic shape. I'm going to use this triangulation technique we were just talking about and say like that's probably a lot better for that shape. Just purely just triangling it over there, right? Measuring, right? Squinting, measuring. I'm also blocking in this that eyeball shape. And I again, like we'll detail it. We'll detail it like crazy. It'll be fun. But for now, just try to keep it right. Just now the other one. Let's see if we can do it. Same kind of triangle thing. Right there. And I guess how. So what did I just do? I guess I should go back. What was my thinking there? Um. Oh shit. Sorry. Let's get rid of the circle so you're not confused. Okay. So I have those points. Now they're on this transparent layer. I'll try to go over here. So I got these points. And but they're not there. Right? So I've left them here on this transparent layer to show you, but like if I'm drawing it, I may not actually keep them, or I might just do them in my if I'm drawing a drawing, I might actually just use I might just put little tiny points that I would want to erase later. But I'm like thinking about those points. I mean, I guess it's the accuracy. Like they should be littler, but it's the accuracy of where you place those and how you relate them that you can start to find these other spots. So I will, see if we can demonstrate. Like once I've established, this initial triangle, any other point should relate to these points, and they will be accurate. So what do we mean? Like, grab another color, this green one, sure. So I wanted to find this very central one here, right? So I drew from here, and then I also did from there, and then again I could just do from there as well, and right, all of that would correspond to points on that face, right? I hope that's not gonna. I really hope that that's like understandable. Um, Perhaps if I get rid of it, another point here, boom, right? So here it relates, right? All those points would relate to it in different ways, right? As long as these ones match up, as long as these all match up, then it's all, you know what I mean? Then they all will, it's going to be accurate where you want it. Um, this can be more difficult in life, right? If you're actually looking at, there's model is moving, you know what I mean? It's an actual alive subject that you're drawing that can be, this can be challenging, or, you would need a very like professional model for that. So, or a still life. That would be the point. You would have a still life in front of you, and the discipline would be like putting yourself exactly there. I don't know. This may like be limiting in terms of self-expression, potentially, or it could be the constraints that sort of help you learn how to express yourself. I don't know, but definitely, um, this is not the way. This is just a way. It's a way to do it. It's not the way. I hope that like you know comes through, and maybe nobody maybe nobody was actually even thinking about that, but I think it can be when somebody is in this position, right? Subject's supposed to know, like I'm hosting this show and I'm drawing this picture and I'm like, do this and do that. You might be like, oh, this is that's what Mr. Wisdom said to do. Don't listen to me, right? You gotta draw your own drawing. Mm. But certainly this is a fun way to do it, and this is a way that I've worked through many times. So all right, let me just get back to it. Do I have this point in the right spot? Seems like it. Pretty close. And then there, pretty close. I like it. I like it. So yeah, find that angle too. It should be related, kind of. Just a little bit of a. We're starting to get somewhere. Seems like there's the. Again, we established where the brow ridge was initially, but now we're really, making it much more definitive. Um, Thanks everybody for your patience. Cool. Oh. Well, I hope that my hope my feed didn't drop out for a minute. Apologize about that. So focused on the drawing, I didn't realize. Anyway, had a little technical hiccup just now. All right. Hey, look at that. Eyes too close in the face. I don't know. Um, but let me do a couple of measurements. Maybe the chin is not in the right spot. We did the jaw and stuff, but we didn't really sort of get to the chin. So maybe there's a little bit of a just do it again. Just measuring from those spots, the angle. So maybe like right there is a bit better. And then I think we can draw this sweep just a little bit more accurately. But again, better to use straight lines or angled. Sort of use angles and block. Hold up, we got chat. What's up, chat? It's Professor Wisdom to you. LOL. Thank you, creature. It's great to see you. Thanks for showing up. Um, well, good. I'm glad you heard that because I think that's an important point. Like it's so easy for the person in charge to just be like, I'm in charge, do it because I said so. Not, I'm lost like you. You know what I mean? We're all in this together, kind of like, but I've gone through this part before. I might be able to offer some insight, so on and so forth. Um, I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, just not detailed, but shaping it up. I definitely had the mouth in the wrong place. I should have taken a picture. Well, there is one. There's a picture of what it looked like in the first place. So we'll watch the tape at the end. Okay. So without ears, without getting too much into it, right? Okay. Yeah, good. Great. Maybe same, like just sort of block it in. Why not? We're talking about that idea. There's lost edges. It'll we can sharpen that up, but for now, that's probably fine. But I'll just don't downplay that because I'll get there, right? I have those points in mind and I can use those to sort of find my way about. But all right. This is not the best drawing ever made. However, it's much better now than it was earlier. And so let's just continue before we, there's a funny story of about guards who were guarding. There was a curfew, and people who trespassed the curfew were were subject to being shot. So it was really important. People had to get in by curfew. So it was 10 minutes to curfew, and the guard sees somebody like hurrying up to get home, and he he shoots him. And his guard friend asks him like, well, why did you shoot him? It's 10 minutes till curfew. And he explains, well, I know that person and he lives more than 10 minutes away from here. So I just speed matters up. I went at, well, that's what I'm saying. Let's not shoot too quickly. Well, let's not shoot too quickly. Let's instead, let's take our time. Oop. And see if we can't. Yeah. I'm just measuring. I measured from this brush is too big. I measured from from this point, not measured, but sighted the angle from this point, right, to this corner of the mouth, right? And then I'm trying to relate it to that corner there, and then also to that one there. But to find that area, just find that little point, right? So find that point. And same thing, kind of, it should be the same kind of angle, right? That's the way the chin goes, the jaw, right, relates. Hairline, all that stuff. Kind of derpy looking. I can't help it. It's a nice photograph. It's just it's not you, it's me. You know what I mean? So it's not you, it's me. think this nose is messing us up now. Again, sort of like, we've been able to shape up stuff. It was a basic kind of blocking we first did. Now we're really tightening it up. We're sort of thinking, we're using a technique to kind of help us shape things up. Yeah, good. Yes. That edge. It's funny. Okay. So let's get out what do we got here? Our kneaded eraser. I'm gonna like just try to stamp out some stuff. I don't know where the nose is yet, so I'm just let's get rid of it. Just gonna get rid of it altogether. Okay. So now let's try to more accurately place it. I'm just going to use the same points that I did previously. So find these there. And so that basically does it. You know what I mean? Just sort of like find a couple points, and then it's like, how do you draw a nose? Well, you got to look at what you see, and I do think it's going to be contingent on your perspective, and then the way the light is describing stuff. But if I just sort of squint my eyes and I look at the shape, I think I can just indicate it like so, right, without too much going on. Not worrying about like where the nostril holes and stuff are at. I don't know. Does that make sense? How low should we go? Might be a bit lower than I have it indicated. Yeah. Yeah. I think that might help too with matters. There's also the way like the angle, right, of the sort of the brow is mirrored here in this furrow. Same over there, right on this side. You can see it here, and sort of it is a delicate S shape, right? It starts to tucks up behind nostril, right, and then the fullness of the cheek, and then right down the side. Yeah, what are those called? I haven't looked at it, but I brought it out today just because, it's my copy of Stonehouse Anatomy. That's the back. That's the front. I've definitely talked about this book before, so I feel like you could probably go back and watch if you were interested in it. But it's a great book. At least it's a very beautiful book. It's a big one, so I actually do need to complete the reading of it. Interesting. It would be interesting to discuss this one, to discuss that anatomy book. All right, what's going on here? This is starting to look pretty silly. But I back up a little bit. No. Well, have we completely missed the mark today? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to get too detailed, but well, as I indicated earlier, we're gonna continue this drawing into next week, because there's one more Monday this year. So this is a 3-part sort of series. Again, well, I thought it would be interesting to work through the whole thing, and I have not touched this drawing like all week. I just figured I really would work through it with you. Okay. I want to, now that I have a couple of these other anatomical points marked. I want to try and put in these ears. Let's see what's up with the chat. Let's see. Take a second. Show work means a lot. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Let's see. I can show. Oops. Whichever belief system. Yeah, end of the year. Very nice. Yeah, it's like the end of the year. So I'm working through this. This is not in the right spot. I can tell you that. Yeah. But right there is much better. And the same thing. This guy is like too. Yeah. This mouth is like too wide still. My mouth. I got a little mouth. So it's not little, but you know what I mean. Like it's in the way that you use it. I heard. Anyway. All right, I'm not getting detailed, but this is where I'm like, I am predicting that the lips can go in this spot. So what do lips like kind of look like? Too much. What do the lips look like? Um, so again, there's a corner of the mouth, right? You can think of it, corner of the mouth, and then you can think of the upper part, right, as having a central node, right? There's a central node in the middle of the lip, and then there's like these wings of the lip. Philtrum is in the middle, right? And then it's this sort of a shape, somewhat, right? It's close to this. You're gonna find different on everybody, right? And then the lower lip is, there are two nodes on the lower lip, and they kind of receive that, that upper one. Anyway, so that's general shape. If you look at it in profile, upper lip is like downward facing plane, and then lower lip, right, kind of upward facing plane. So generally going to have like slightly darker on the the upper lip area, but like the corner of the mouth, and there's a crease, right? This crease between them, usually very dark and pronounced, and that can really be helpful in terms of like sort of figuring out like what is your what are you drawing, that sort of thing. So my ears, let's figure out where they are. It's like a little closer to in line where the mouth is, but a little bit, it's slightly higher. So I'll just indicate, get rid of this weird lips over here, indicate the bottom edge of ear. And then it's probably very, very similar sort of spot over there on the other side. Now, if I were to sort of take this, just so I can grab your attention, or take this spot here, right? And I were to sight an angle. Let's see, what do we, for the ear, right? I could go from to that ear, right? It's about that. That's about the angle when I hold up. That's about it. And then I also have another point like this one here. So if I, again, it's a little, it should be right there. Right, okay, the upper point of the ear. Where in the heck? Where in the heck should that be? How could I find it? Yeah, I'll go from. Let me get rid of these before those are stuck on my drawing. Jeez. Right. It's very close, the point that I found, to the ear, but it's a slightly different spot. So I'll just do a little bit of a gesture, right? It should be there. And then the top point of the ear is, let's see, from that one should be somewhere in that area, and this other side, right, should be somewhere over there, lower, or right there, higher, right there. I don't know, like roughly there. So it's yeah. So those are the kind of the shapes. Now, what's up? It's like a little bit wider there, slightly, and then now there's a certain point of the ear where the angle shifts. And so why I get so detailed? Well, just because we're mm, uh, this is the point where we're at. So let's see. I will. It's like right there, and then again, it's probably very. It's not exactly the same, just because of the shape. That's the upper there, rather. Let me make sure. Okay. I'm like plotting out all these points, everybody, but this is what I'm trying to do, like sort of mentally, is like plot out these points, and that way I can, draw to them, as it were. So, mm, right, something that's about. So it'll be something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my layer, describe. I think and just a block in without any consideration for shading and stuff at all, just to have it, and get rid of that. A that is not so bad. Certainly better, I think. Um, yeah, that's definitely better than it was. Fun as well. I think, and I hope that was helpful, because again, what I find happens all the time, if I'm looking at some of a visual reference, especially for a tattoo or something, there's definitely like it can be complicated, and there might be a little spot like, how do I get there? This sort of triangle technique actually, I think, helps you um, orient yourself about, right, when you're looking at, and so you sort of practice it from life, and then as you, okay, so how wide is this nose? I think that's like the final thing I want to sort of try to tackle here. Um, that is probably like just about that. Yeah. It looks funny. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It looks funny. But might be I'm sure somebody can look at it like with more objective uh more objective perspective than I can right now. So again, I think what'll be really good is to take a break. For me, um, I'll take a break and come back to it next week and finish up this self portrait. And this has been a good way to make sure that that I got it done in time, which is the end of the year. It's got to be done by the end of the year. Otherwise, it's not a 2024 self portrait. Um, anyways, I yeah, it has been fantastic spending the morning hanging out with you all. Uh, I hope you are doing some challenging, enriching thing with your day today. And anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna continue this drawing next week. So if you've enjoyed it, uh, you know, follow along. And I would love to hear about your own self-portrait experience. Oh my god, it's so funny looking. All right, it needs another round of refinement. It really does. But yeah, I'll take a little break on it, and when I come back, we'll get it all finished up. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. Again, I'd like to thank. Let me see if I can. punch it up real quick, is, of course, oh my God, this Tattoo Now. Thank you, Tattoo Now. So if you would really like to up your game in terms of communicating with your clients, adding value to their experience, I would highly recommend check out Tattoo Now. There are business solutions for all different sizes of companies. So whether you're an independent contractor or a big studio with dozens of artists, Tattoo Now, maybe just the thing you're looking for. And of course, tattoos.social. Tattoos.social is social platform with no bullshit. A lot of different tattoo communities are gathering here. So everything from Fireside, Lowbrow Know-How, Reinventing the Tattoo, Tattoo Career Builders, and more. You can find it here at tattoos.social. Join the APT. I'm a member of the APT. I'm on the board of directors. I think it's important. If you are a tattooer, please consider joining APT. Reinventing the Tattoo, reinventingthetattoo.com to learn more about joining up for the subscribers exclusive drawing groups, as well as having access to Reinventing the Tattoo, the book. Can be, it's a life changer. It really is. It's an art book that has an orientation towards tattooing. It's not a how-to tattoo. It's a classic art book with tattoo flavor. So anyway, check it out. Reinventing the Tattoo. Yeah, and I put it up here in the QR code. There's a link to the One Box. One Box is something that Gabe from Tattoo Now is offering. It's a really interesting deal. So click that or scan that QR code for more. All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining me. Join me next week, and we're going to finish up this portrait. It's close, but I'm gonna take a break. I'll take a break, and we'll get it figured out. But thank you everybody, and I'll see you next stream.